I think we can move to the next session. In here, we will have two speakers. The first one is Dr. Tumiran. The topic of the presentation from Dr. Tumiran is about the challenge in the issue and challenge in the power development planning for the archipelagic country, especially in Indonesia. We have so many islands in eastern part of Indonesia. This is the case study for power development planning or master plan of electricity in Maluku and Papua. I think this is very interesting because this is the real project in collaboration with PLN headquarters for handling the issue of the power planning in archipelagic islands and isolated area. Please, Dr. Tumiran, the time is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Sardio, and also Professor Anthony and Dr. Denny Hamdani. Thank you very much, and good morning. Maybe in Greece still morning or afternoon. In this, suara memang mantul ya, memang kedengaran di situ. Yeah. In this afternoon, I have a honor from this committee MESfIA that I have the giving me for giving short information or presentation about our project with the PLN related how to accelerate to electrify the eastern part of Indonesia as well, especially in the island get very remote from the center island. I chose the title Indonesia Strategic Planning for Accelerating Electrification in Rural Area and Remote Island of Eastern Indonesia. In this project, I include with also Dr. Sardio that funding by the PLN, and now our research also has been used by the PLN for set up the planning for accelerating electrifying in this region. As you know, as all of you know, that for the measure of electricity supply in the region, we have one is how to measure the quantity. The quantity must enough, and also the quality must require the high standards that give the user satisfaction, and also the reliability. Reliability is one of important point to measure the quality, and also the pricing. The pricing is been the economical that we measures from the suppliers and also from the customer. How to make the electricity pricing is can be in the economic value. If we accelerate with the high cost, also will be a problem for Eastern Indonesia, because the Eastern Indonesia people, the income of economy is still under average compared with the people in Java or other developed region in Indonesia. And then we consider also the availability of primary energy sources in this region, that we sure that if we use the local energy resources will be give the lower price in the transportation, and also will keeping the economic development in those regions. And also in the design in this region, we also consider about the margin. We have to minimize margin, but still ensure the quality and reliability. Also, we design for where it is necessary using the transmission or only the level of distribution that the guarantee to can distribute the power, the generate from the power and to the customer with minimum losses. As you know, that I will try to inform about the average of total from the electricity energy consumption in this region. It is the compare from the picture. If you see the picture here, this is the Java Island. Yeah, Java Island not the biggest island in Indonesia, but the biggest island is the Papua, and then the Kalimantan, and then Sumatra. But the people density in Java Island, maybe 60% of Indonesian population are living in Java. Yeah, from the 260 million of Indonesian population, 60% are living in Java, and then in Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and then the rest in this area. The electricity, the average consumption total of electricity in Indonesia, of course, the highest consumption is by the people who are living in Java Island, from the around the 260 terawatt hour of PLN production, around 74% consumed by the people in Java, and then by the people in Sumatra, and then by the people in Sulawesi, then Kalimantan, and the rest is for the region. If we compare of the area, the rest is large area, but the density is the rest. Yeah, the density is very low. For electrification ratio, as you know, until now, from the data, only the data in 2007 is the less, but from the data in 2021, I think the total electrification ratio in Indonesia has reached 98%, because the government has accelerating how all the people in the remote area can receive electricity supply. But the problem also, not all the area in Indonesia has the same level of quality, reliability, and the quantity of electricity supply. The highest quality and reliability, of course, in Java, Bali Island, Indonesia, and then Sumatra, and then the ports is Sulawesi, the ports in Kalimantan, the 6 in Sulawesi, the rest in this region, even though the electricity has been supplied in this region, but the average of quality and reliability still lower compared with the or Sumatra or in Sulawesi. Why? Because the total capacity in this region is still less than of the energy consumed. Here I want to inform you the existing condition energy mix in the Maluku region. This is the Maluku region. We call this is the Maluku region, yeah, Maluku. As you know, maybe you cannot imagine or cannot make the picture in detail how is the area of Indonesia. But for the student in Indonesia know well about this map, existing energy mix in Maluku is the Maluku region, yeah, 88% supported by the diesel engine. It means using the fossil fuel, and coal about 11%, and the solar PV 1%. From this information, so the cost structure, it means cost structure is still very, very expensive. Yeah. So the government of Indonesia, through the Indonesia Electricity Company, still giving subsidies for the people who are living in this region. So they have to pay with the average price, but the average price here is lower than the production cost of the PLN. So the government still giving the subsidy. In the Maluku region, but we divided in the Maluku, and it's the North Maluku. That is, we can divide it like this. The north is here, there. For the capacity, total capacity of this region, yeah, coal power plant is small, only 14 megawatts, but the total for diesel engine is about 117 megawatts, and the VP is very small. Now the PLN, yeah, accelerating to reduce the use of diesel engine with accelerating combined with the PP. Now the program is accelerating for using the PP to reduce the diesel engine with we call the hybrid system. Dr. Sargio in short word also in the opening session this afternoon also has explained about the program for accelerating of using PP with reducing the diesel for supporting of electricity in those region. Yeah, of course, when using the diesel, this region still produce high CO2 emission. Now, Maluku and Papua electricity development problem. Yeah, the problem in this region, uneven population density, consists of thousands of scattered islands. The main islands of Papua, the population also is still scattered, and minimum of transportation also be a problem. Electrification ratio and electric consumption per capita are still low. Electricity infrastructure is not good. Not all island has adequate primary energy source. Industry is still very limited in this region. And the average level of education is still under average. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, not in good, but still to be improved. Yeah, to be improved. The social condition of the community that have their own characteristic. Yeah, we have the maybe how many tribe in Indonesia. Yeah, we have the huge tribe in Indonesia. Every tribes in Indonesia has on their characteristic that must be understood by the government when we develop for supporting economic growth in this region. Region development planning has not been well mapping. Now, challenge of Maluku electricity. You can imagine, yeah. This is the little bigger island, but here is many small island. Yeah, if moving from Ambon, for example, here we must use the boats, yeah, or ship for transforming for the people here. The transportation also is minimal. This is one of the constraint or the problem or difficulty for distribution of energy. So why the concept here, how we can develop for electricity here as possible using the resources of energy. Yeah, resources of energy from this for the iron, yeah, is only from the sun, for example, use PV or using biomass. Biomass, we have to convert the biomass from the tree for burning and the energy for producing of electricity. That is the one of challenge for supporting, for electrifying of this region. Yeah. Scatter upload consists of many islands, demand growth is low, difficult to transfer fossil energy. That's the problem. But why using many diesel? Because to store the fossil is very easy compared, for example, if we want use to the gas or other. But the problem for accelerating PP is how to can maintenance, to maintain the equipment like the controller, like the inverter, to manage the battery, where the spare part of this component is very, very difficult to get in this location, but must be transferred from this region, for example. If any bottleneck or trouble of the equipment, how to maintain the continuity of supply, it means the supply chain of the component, is this also one of the questions to be answered. Now, this is also in the Maluku. Yeah, this is the Maluku. This is many islands. It's still very difficult for like this for connecting with the cable, for example. If you want to set up the grid or build the high power plant in this island, for example, with the distribution with cable, this is very far from one region to one region. Also very far, or the distance is very far. So the economic scaling for transporting the energy using the undersea cable, it is still not economist because the people density is very low. So the energy consumed density in this region is very low. So the concept here is that I explained before, we have to develop independently power plant as much as possible using and develop with local energy resources. The understanding is PP, hybrid, for example, with biomass. This is as the one concept for accelerating. If we can develop with biomass here in this region, because, for example, we develop the forest for energy, this is what can supporting for reducing of CO2 emission, and also will believe can develop also the local economic of the people, and for long term continuing, maybe if we continue replanting and farming of the tree for the energy forest, can also this product can support for the fuel as biomass fuel for other region in Indonesia. This concept has recommended from Gadjah Mada University, also under considering by the government, by PLN. I hope this idea that our propose can be executed, that will accelerating the using of renewable energy sources, especially from the forest product. Yeah, this is also in the Papua. The Papua is the biggest island in Indonesia, but the total density, the total population, maybe less than 1 million people living in this region. So you can imagine how the people, only 1 million living, how to electrifying of the people, because the people living is very scattering in this many regions. That's the problem. Yeah, the problem. That is why until now still maintain using the diesel engine in this region. But for the future, moving forward for changing with the renewable energy source based on the local resources. Also, this is part area also. Yeah, this is the distribution of existing power plant. Yeah, in this region, the biggest power system in the capital of the Papua. Yeah, in the Jayapura system. This is the biggest. This is the island. There is Biak. That we have the people. Biak is very famous region. When the Second World War, where the MacArthur landed in this region for moving to Japan. Yeah, And also before here we have the international airport, the connecting from Jakarta to United States, but there is no direct flight again. No, the international airport here is only for supporting domestic airport, yeah, from Jakarta to other region in this area. Now, this is the other part, yeah, the total population. The total population of the Maluku and the Papua is only 1.7 million compared with the total of Indonesian population is 260 million. Only 1.7 million live in those regions. It is and scattering in many islands. So that is still the problem. That is why the government of Indonesia still giving consideration for giving subsidies for supporting of those people, that electricity can guarantee for supporting economic growth in those regions. Also, this is the density, and in the Papua, yeah, Papua only 283 million. Yeah. Nah, supply chain of coal. Yeah. If we, as you know, for in our recommendation also, we are not strong recommended for this region support by the steam power plant, because for construct the steam power plant, it must be the capacity more than 200 mega for one unit. So it's very difficult for distribution of the power produced from this. And also, if we want to supply with the power plant, the supply chain is very far from this region, because in Indonesia, the production of coal is from the Kalimantan, or ini ada ya, also from the Sulawesi. We are not considering for accelerating the use of coal power plant in this region. This is the example information of supply chain of the diesel oil, yeah, diesel oil for this region. The center is here. Now we want to discuss also explains about the biomass resources potential in Indonesia. We have the investigate and analysis and coordinate evaluation with the Minister of Forestry that in region Maluku, North Maluku, Papua, and West Papua, we have the last area that total 1,113,000 around 73 hectare. Hektar is berapa kilometer persegi? Yeah, around this. Yeah, this area can be converted as conservation area and protected area also by the government, can be used for biomass resources for energy. We have to calculate that if we use the biomass for the energy, especially for electricity production, the cost structure is less than or more economic compared with the diesel engine. We have to calculate well about this, and we have to propose to the government for strategy that will give contribution for our country in the CO2 reduction totally, with acceleration of using biomass with the concept of forest for energy. This is also, we have to develop, to estimate and calculate analysis about the solar potential in this region. So for the development of this region, we propose hybrid system combined with the PV resources and biomass and the diesel engine as the standby in the temporary time. After the biomass success for the continuous production, all the diesel engine can be replaced by the biomass power plant and also hybrid with the VP. So unnecessary battery for supporting, because you know the battery is still expensive, and also the rest also to be the waste. Yeah, the battery also, the rest after unusing will be the waste, and in very difficult also for the maintenance of the waste of the battery. It is solar resources in many regions. In this Papua, we have also study geophysics information about the data, the potential VP for optimization of production electricity. This is wind resources also we have, but not as much as maybe in Greece or in France or in Spain. Yeah, in wind resources also has been mapping by us, that is very potential. But the problem also, if we develop wind power with the high capacity, the problem how to distribute it for far area, for long distance area. So the potential is only for the region also. Now, for instance, Indonesia, we have to, with considering of uneven populations, scattered load, topography, consists of many islands, we require a typical generation expansion planning based on local characteristics of each island, area, and prioritizing local renewable energy sources that I have explained before. It is based on the biomass source produced from energy for forest for energy. This is the result clustering of the generation expansion planning based on the population. And this is the example of generation expansion planning result for Ambon Seram, for example, tourist 2030. We have set up how much from the gas, how much from the solar, how much from the and others, and geothermal also. This is for the Ambon Seram, part of the Maluku, that our generation expansion planning also has been designed by our institution and has been delivered to PLN. Conclusion, as the last of our presentation today, Eastern Indonesia region has special characteristics which require special model for energy supplying in this area of this region. Based on the clustering result, the generation expansion model can be classified into centralized, decentralized, distributed, and mixed centralized and decentralized. The general expansion planning result of Ambon Seram system show that mixed centralizing decentralized model. The centralized system is connected using 150, and also the next conclusion that for continuing of supplying electricity for Eastern Indonesia and hopefully for development of local economy, the development of electricity in this region must be based on the local resource, that is from product of forest, that is can be continue farming, replanting, farming, replanting. Thank you very much, Mr. Antonio. Thank you. There is only the subject to be presented this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tumiran, for very interesting presentation. Maybe if you have, maybe because I think we have limited time, but if you have any one question, we can accommodate. Please, Antonis.
Yes, I would like to thank Professor Tumiran because he explained very well the difficulties that island countries may face when they are so far away from the areas that have significant load. These islands need to be developed, and energy infrastructure and its development will help them, these people, to stay there and have similar conditions to the others living in larger islands or in the mainland. We recognize many of the problems that we can see on the island of Crete, even though yours are even more complicated, and they need very well trained engineers to face such issues. And I believe that the engineers from your institutions will help out these plans that the Indonesian government has.
Yeah, thank you, Antonio, for your comment for us. Of course, when the result of our study, our evaluation and is delivered to government, also we learn together from the meeting in Greece, during the meeting, as inspiring us also how to manage, to develop, to set up the electricity for remote area. Yeah, we learn. We have the subject during the meeting in your country on this time 2 years ago. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any comment, Antonis?
No other comment from my side. It was a very inspiring presentation, especially for the students that you have got many of them participating in this event.
Yeah, Antonio, if any student, want to know more in detail about our result or how we are set up the planning, can send email to us also. Yeah, we welcome to the student that who want to know more about our result.
Suaranya nggak masuk? Yeah. Okay. I think it's very interesting presentation, and maybe if we have enough time, we can discuss more. But because we still have one presenters from IATP, Dr. Darmono already also joined in this meeting.